Alrighty, and well, I gotta say, it is not very often you see a team that is able to do a double against LAFC in a season, if not any, but that is exactly what the Houston Dynamo has done in the last couple of days. They've beaten LAFC again, this time on the road, and this was really a perfect road game for the Houston Dynamo. And I cannot believe I'm saying this. In the year of 2023, Ben Olsen put on a tactical clinic in this one and really outcoached Steve Cherundolo in this one. Now, early on, I thought there was a lot of possession for LAFC, but that was by design because you knew that the Houston Dynamo was going to sit in that low block and be defensive, organized, and go on the transition, which they found a lot of success in this game too. Though it was almost a big mistake here from John McCarthy as he passed it straight to Herrera. Now, fortunately, Herrera was in a tight angle; he couldn't shoot that. He had to center that one in and hope that one of his teammates will slot it in, but unfortunately he misplaced that final pass. But yeah, that was a huge mistake here from John McCarthy, and he got away one there. But I also thought it was a really flat start from LAFC. Now, again, a combination has to do with the fact that the Dynamo was very defensively structured. They were not allowing anything in the middle for LAFC to operate. But at the same time, it just feels like it's very poor from LAFC going for on the attack. It looks slow at time in terms of attacking play, which is something you don't see LAFC has done this season. And the final ball play was absolute horrendous and also careless mistake at the back. Though in the 21st minute, they did break through of what was they thought the opening goal with Burgush puts it in, but the only problem was the flag did not agree with that. The goal was disallowed for offside, and that was really the first time the LAFC had broke through that resilience Houston defensive shape. But that disallowed goal would turns out to be a big thing because just 2 minutes later on the other end, Mikhail would score his first career MLS goal to give the Dynamo a 1-0 lead. LAFC feel like there was a foul in the box. In fact, they actually did check to see whether or not if that is the case, and I think it was Vela, the one that went down on the ground, and that LAFC was complaining that there was a foul there. But I think in the end they got this call right. I don't think Vela got fouled there. I think he went down to the ground way too easily to draw that foul. And yeah, the goal stood. The Dynamo with a surprising 1-0 lead on the road. Palacios looked for an instant response, but his shot is deflected wide. And then Bassi on the other end puts it wide from close range. The possession was 68 to 32 for LAFC. But like I said, this was by design by the Dynamo. They are going to try to sit back. They're going to kind of be the antagonist in this one and allow LAFC have all the possession and see if they can break them down. And up to that point, they weren't able to do so. And on the other end, they've been able to catch this LAFC team on the transition because LAFC were putting so many man forward and also creating some half chances. Herrera then curls it just wide on the free kick before Chiellini header was actually redirected by Ilie, but that one goes wide. There was a shout for a penalty for LAFC not given, and then Ibrahim scored in the 5th minute stoppage time. Looked like it was 2-0 in favor of Houston, but the goal was disallowed for offside on the development play. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this was very close, and I think in the end, I'm kind of surprised they didn't go to VAR to check to make sure that indeed is the right call. I mean, I think if they go to VAR, it probably would have been tough to overturn it, but judging by MLS VAR, you never know. And again, it is very close, so close that I think you can definitely see that there's times where it could be overturned, and there's times where it didn't overturn, and in this play, it didn't overturn. But I also thought the LAFC got to watch those transition because they are just getting cut open on the transition, getting picked apart by this Dynamo team going the other way. Though Clark did deny Bogush from close range, little do we know that that was actually the only shot on goal and the only save that Steve Clark had to make in this one. But we do head to halftime with the Dynamo leading 1-0, and the second half, Burgush did puts it just wide from long range. This was probably the best game from Mateus Bogush. He was really the only guy on the attack that was trying in this game. And again, LAFC, as expected, on the front foot, while the Dynamo continued to go on a bunker. And, I think that you could easily say that, well, maybe they're just going to bunker and trying to hold on to a 1-0 win, which is kind of what we see with previous Dynamo team. One thing I've said about the Dynamo, and this is going back to last year too, I feel like the Dynamo has improved on the road. And I know last year the resort doesn't show it, but they have definitely been improving on the road. And yes, this season there's been times where it has looked like the old Houston Dynamo, a team that just pretty much getting completely stomped on whenever they're on the road. But that's just not been the case. They have been a much better road team these last two seasons, and although the resort haven't kind of show until now, that is, this is a team that I think people need to know that when they're playing them at home, it's not a guarantee as we've seen in past years. But I also thought that just like the first half, it's been flat from LAFC. They just cannot break down this stingy Dynamo defense. They had to go wide every single time, which they don't like to do. They kind of likes to just go down the middle, which again, Dynamo was not allowing anything to go down in the middle. There was just no passing lanes for LAFC to operate. Vela would then fires it over the bar from long range before Herrera would blast it high on the transition. Then McCarthy denied Herrera from long range, and it just feel like it's more like Houston getting that second goal than LAFC getting first, and that's saying something too, because again, LAFC they just could not do anything going forward, and on the other end they were just getting caught on the transition time and time again as they push man forward. Vela free kick is blocked off the wall there. Another rough game for Carlos Vela, and he actually went the full 90 in this one. I mean, I get it. He is your captain. He is definitely a club legend, but I think it's getting to a point where maybe Carlos Vela role for this team is going to start to diminish because it's been a rough season for Carlos Vela, and you can see Father Time is starting to kind of catch up to hit him, and those injuries that he's been dealing with for the past couple of years is starting to really catch him because he has looked nowhere near the Carlos Vela that we've seen from a couple of years ago. And to make matter worse for LAFC, Mahala Opoku would get a straight red here. I mean, just a moment of madness there from Mahala Opoku, just a studs up challenge, a two-legged scissor challenge on Artura. I mean, that is as worthy of a red card as you ever seen. You cannot do that and expect to get away with a yellow there. So yeah, LAFC were down to 10 men. That challenge also draw the crowd there. There was some pushing and shoving from both teams. Not a big surprise because when you do that, yeah, you're gonna draw a crowd and some dislike from your opposition. There was another shout for a handball for a penalty for LAFC was not given. Long then blasted high from long range, and despite LAFC continue to put man forward, this sense is not going to happen. Like Houston, they've been so defensively organized, and mind you, this is a team that just played 3 days ago, and you would think that maybe fatigue was going to be a factor. No, it wasn't. They were solid throughout this full 90 minutes, and they have defended well enough that it was really a comfortable win for them. I mean, imagine I say that maybe in the beginning of the season or maybe ever that the Houston Dynamo will walk into BMO Stadium and get a very comfortable 1-0 win in this one, but that's exactly what happened. And the stats basically tells that 14 shots committed, 12 that the Dynamo has, but only one shot on goal. And that one shot on goal, as I mentioned, was the bogus shot in the 7 minute stoppage time compared to the 3 that the Dynamo has. 6 shots off target with the 7 that LAFC had. 3 shots that was blocked with the 6 that LAFC had. And possession wise, despite LAFC had more of the possession, 71% possession compared to 29 that the Dynamo has. Dynamo just play a perfect road game. And now all of a sudden, this team is hot right now. I mean, you're going back to when they won the US Open Cup 4-1 against the Chicago Fire. This team has not lost ever since then, and they're rising up the standings. And I think there could be a sense that maybe some people need to take this team seriously now. I mean, I know for a while, and even Dynamo fans will say that, well, it's been a great start, but this is where usually when we get to the summer month where things are starting to fizzle out. It has not fizzled out with this team. And in fact, I think this team has just gotten stronger and stronger as the season goes along, and that this is something that I think Dynamo fans absolutely deserve because again, it's been a miserable last couple of years for this team, just constant rebuild that doesn't really go to anywhere, and now for once they're starting to do well, and that again, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but if you would tell me Ben Olsen would actually get some inspiration out of this team, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody, including DC fans, would be like you, but full credit has to be with Ben Olsen and what he has done to this team. But for LAFC, I mean, this is just kind of the taxes that they got to pay after a long CCL run. We've seen this happen with multiple team in MLS, and that despite that, I do think that there is got to be concern because yes, I know there's still a couple of games in hand over teams around them. They gotta start winning these games in hand because they don't win these games in hand, they're going to drop down the standings. And knowing the fact that the West is actually really tight right now, I think between them and all the way down to 10th place is only separated by 6 points. And if you go all the way back to 11th place, it's only separated by 7 points. And if LAFC don't pick up points and they get this rough stretch out of their system, which by the way, besides this rough patch, they've only scored 1 goal in the last 6 games in all competition. The goal has just completely dried up in this team. But if they don't figure things out, LAFC could be another victim of the long CCL run that eventually things started to go wrong for them, and that again they need to pick up some points because they're sliding down the standings, and it's not going to be easy because the next game we play in the next game. Oh yeah, it's again Sporting KC on the road. That team that has been probably the hottest team right now in the Western Conference, and maybe even the hottest team in the league besides FC Cincinnati and Nashville. So yeah, it's a rough patch that LAFC is dealing with. But let me know in the comments below what do you think of this review, and let me know in the comments below what do you think of this game. I mean, I could easily say that this game was a surprising result, but just looking how this game has played, I don't think it was really a lot of surprise that Dynamo was able to pull this one off, and that this is probably one of the better role performances I've seen a team done this season, especially against the likes of the defending champ that is LAFC. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.